Welcome back to another episode of the Hyperion Adventures podcast.
Wow. We're going to start dropping that in every episode.
Yeah.
That is quality right there. Well, hello again, and welcome to another episode of the Hyperion Adventures podcast. I'm Tom. As always, I'm with my gorgeous, intelligent, very hard-working Disney Halloween-loving wife and co-host, Michelle.
Thank you, sweetie. Hi, everybody.
You may wonder a little bit how Disney and Halloween has to do with today's topic. Well, we'll get into that in a little bit, but
There's
no
a
matter
link.
what, we are glad you joined us, and we're glad you joined us. You could be listening to this on Halloween. This episode is being recorded on Sunday, October 30th, but a lot of you end up listening on Monday. So whether you're celebrating Halloween today, whether you're celebrating Dia de los Muertos on the 1st, whatever it may be, we hope you're all doing well and that you had a very safe and happy holiday.
I concur.
I concur, and that you ended up with a lot of candy, whether it be because you gathered a lot of candy by trick-or-treating or whether you have a lot of candy left over that trick-or-treaters didn't quite take it all from you.
You kind of nabbed some from your kids.
Right. Or that too.
We don't ever
That
do
too.
that.
No. We're in an interesting position because we've been for the last, 17 years, 18 years, we were in the same place. So we kind of had a general idea of what our trick-or-treaters were going to be like, how many we would get, how much candy to buy. We're in a brand new neighborhood.
Yeah.
We have no idea going into tomorrow what it's going to be like.
I know. It could be anything,
Right.
you know. And so, hard to predict, but ready to be prepared.
But I know Michelle went out and got some wonderful treats for us to hand out if we should get some trick-or-treaters for tomorrow.
Yeah, which I think, as I'm looking out the window and seeing some kids go around in skateboards and everything, I'm sure there will be some. But like you said, the volume, it's just, you never know.
Yeah.
Never know.
It's a relatively new neighborhood as well, but I have seen lots of Halloween decorations on some of our neighbors' places, so that's a good sign as well. So we'll see how it goes, and we'll report back to you next week.
Yes, because we know you're dying.
You know you care. Obviously, you care with every minute little piece of our lives. So ridiculous.
Oh, man.
We get a little full of ourselves sometimes, don't we?
I think so. Yes, we finger quote, do.
It's true. It's true. Michelle always tells the best true facts about us. Anyway, we appreciate that you joined us today. In the future, you can find us most everywhere you get podcasts. However, the very best place to find us is on our own website, HyperionAdventuresPodcast.com. And while you're there...
What? Oh, yes. Please subscribe to our newsletter.
We have a newsletter?
We do. Just
Wow,
started.
I didn't know.
I know.
Yes, please sign up for the newsletter. It's just a great way to be involved in the Hyperion Adventures podcast world. By the way,
I think the haunts are taking over this episode.
I know, I'm telling you. By the way, the haunts took over our website this week, so I think we had a little problem getting the newsletter out this week because we were having a little problem accessing our website for whatever reason.
It was scary for sure.
Straightened out. We had a little exorcism of the website, but the newsletter will be back in action. I'm sure this coming week, Michelle will have lots of great stuff for you there.
It was ready to go, and well, not ready to go. I had the stories and things I was going to include, but oh well. Next time.
All carries over to next week,
That's
right?
right.
There we go.
Exactly.
Like I said, it's just a great way to be involved in the Hyperion Adventures podcast world. Another great way is by following us on social media. We're on Twitter at Hyperion Podcast, Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest at Hyperion Adventures Podcast. If you are on Facebook, come on over and join us for some good, positive Disney energy fun on our Hyperion Adventurers Facebook group.
Yeah, and this week was especially fun.
Yes, we had one great thing that was announced by not us for once, as narcissistic as we can be on that website. It was not by us this week, and we'll get to that in a moment here, but it was a very exciting news from one of our Hyperion adventurers.
Yeah. So that's what's great about that group is just being able to allow everybody to share and celebrate together.
For sure. And that's what it's all about. Just positive energy. Of course, Disney, as you know us, we're big Disney fans, but also just whatever's going on in your life. That is good. We want to celebrate that for sure. And that's a great spot to do it. Also, we are on YouTube. If you want to find us there, just do a quick search for Hyperion Adventures Podcast. Hit subscribe. You'll know whenever we have a video there. And if you ever want to contact us for any reason, please hit us up at our Gmail account, HyperionAdventuresPodcast@gmail.com.
Right. Speaking of the YouTube channel, it's funny. This week, Scott has been so into, going at our older episodes. I don't know why. He actually selected the first episode, which I was cringing to think I had to hear that too. But anyways, so that's another option people can look at.
That's true. I actually need to get caught up because we haven't posted a video version. I say video version in air quotes because mostly it's just the title card with our actual podcast behind it on that website. We did for a while do some of our we recorded ourselves live doing the show. Not live doing the show, but we recorded ourselves doing the show and put them out on there. And that just got a little too much for me to edit every single week. And I think it's probably still that, but it is another way to get our show out there. So I do need to get caught up on some of our most recent episodes on the YouTube channel. So maybe this week I will hunker down in here. I also need to get caught up because I still want to get that video of our Copper Creek cabin that I did.
Oh, I thought that was already out there.
I haven't done that yet. I need to get down. I was just thinking about it a little. I know. Ding, ding, shame. Ding, ding, shame. Yes, I still need to get that together. I need to do the voiceover for that. So maybe I will do that this week as well. I just need to hunker down when I get off of work and
I'll help you make that
get
happen.
Some stuff
Eddie.
done. Yes, for sure. So hopefully you'll see some of those things come out this week. Thanks for reminding me, Michelle. Michelle always has the best reminders put in place. Now, if you like this show, you enjoy this show, you think that the content is worthwhile on something that you get in, on a weekly basis. Well, there's a couple great ways that you could help support this show and kind of help us with some of the costs that are associated with this show. After all, we don't charge you for this show. We do not have any sponsors at this moment right now. However, there's any sponsors out there, we'd love to bring you on board. But there are some costs that are associated with this show that we pay on a yearly or monthly basis. And, there are a couple great ways that you can help us kind of cut into those costs. And get some great swag out of it at the same time. The first and probably easiest way is to go to our Spreadshirt shop. If you want to just go there, you can go to spreadshirt.com and kind of look us up there, Hyperion Adventures Podcast, or you can go to any of our social media profile pages where we have a Linktree account there. And within that Linktree account is a link straight to our Spreadshirt shop. And you can go there and kind of peruse through our various different gear with our various different logos. I know now that we're getting through Halloween, we're going to get back into the holiday season, and we have our holiday logo as well there.
Hey.
And if you were to purchase anything there, any of the various different items, various different colors, various different logos, we get a portion of that money to help us with the costs of this show.
Yeah, and we appreciate those of you who have already made purchases. Thank you.
Yeah, plus you get to, sport some of that swag
That's
around. Right. Or it could be just in your home. It could be out at the parks, whatever it may be.
Right.
It advertises for the show. It's another thing to wear to show your support for the show. And there's just some cool stuff there.
Yeah, and like we always say, they change things, add things, and they have sales too.
Yeah, so check that out. Even if there's something that's you're looking for that you haven't liked on a right now or hasn't appeared there may be something that's more interesting to you the next week, or there may be a sale that you're more interested in the next week. So check it out for sure. Another great way is to become a Patreon member of this show. All you have to do is go to patreon.com/Hyperion Adventures Podcast, and you can find the tier that's right for you. We have tiers starting as low as $2 per month. And always, we say this so often, but we really, really appreciate the Patreons of this show. You have helped us with our costs of this show consistently for the last year and a half or so since we started that.
Right. We really do appreciate it, and you're very special to us.
Yes. Thank you so very much. Now, before we get into this week's episode, we always like to take a look back at the week that was, because, we always find that there's some highs, some lows, but we are the Positivity Podcast. So we like to focus on the highs from the last week before we move into our next week's content. So we kind of like to do a thing that's called our favorite thing from this week. And when we do this, well, we always start with Michelle because she's fantastic, wonderful, all things great. You know, she has the best list. She definitely does the best research. She always has the best tips. And she almost always has the best my favorite thing from this week. So Michelle, what was your favorite thing from this week?
Well, again, like I say, most every time there's several things that were really cool, exciting, and unique. But I think to me, the one that was by far the most favorite thing of this week was having an actual weekend with you. I know that your schedule's been kind of wacky. Very rarely even them scheduling you 2 days in a row. So having it actually fall on a weekend and 2 days in a row has been amazingly fun.
Yes, it's been strange that we've my schedules with both my jobs, especially with the post office. I could never get 2 days off in a row.
Couldn't get 2 days off in a week.
Yes. But then, since the new job, there was a small period in between where I had some days off. But, since I've been working at the new job at the hospital, the days have been, a day here, a day there. There have been a couple times where I've had 2 days off, but none of those have been on a weekend. Right. I haven't had an official Friday since I started there. So yes, that has been nice. And that's one of my favorite things from this week as well, for sure. My other favorite things from this week is our show with Justin Monorail on the Passholder Lounge podcast came out this week, where we recorded with him talking about perks of DVC. Sort of. We talked about a lot of stuff, and perks of DVC did come off in there somewhere, but we had a lot of fun with him, and you should definitely go check that out. Again, it's the Passholder Lounge podcast. Find us on there. Check out that show, and you'll want to stay subscribed to that show because it's very entertaining.
Yeah, and Justin's amazing. He's a master at interviewing people, but keeping it relaxed, keeping it fun, and yeah, you'll enjoy it.
For sure. So definitely go check that out and definitely keep involved with that show. Another great thing we did this week is that we had a quick jump in and record to our little surprise birthday celebration for one Frank Cardillo, of course, from Dillo's Diz Theme Park Thursday with Dillo's Diz. Jen invited us and a bunch of other wonderful friends of ours out there to kind of surprise Frank as they were recording their show for this week. It was... How old is he now? 80, 85, something like that.
You're mean. Be nice.
Anyway, Frank's a great guy. Both Frank and Jen are great people. We were happy to do it. We couldn't stick around for the entire show because it's late at night and I have to get up very, very early and I'm a wimp. But we did have a lot of fun with him during the time we could be there. And it was all great to celebrate Frank's special day.
Yeah, it was great to celebrate Frank's special day. And it was an honor to be invited.
Yeah,
because it was a pretty amazing group.
For sure. We feel very honored to be invited to that. And yeah, definitely. That's another episode that came out this week that we have a small part in. You could check that out as well. Theme Park Thursday with Dillo's Diz. Again, find that on all your podcatchers and subscribe to them as well because they have a great show for sure.
Oh yeah. It's awesome.
For sure. So we did also get my favorite thing from this week from one of our Hyperion adventurers out there. And this was super exciting to us. I got to think they're over the moon as well. Yeah. This came from Jonathan, who you've probably heard on the show a couple times. He said, favorite thing from this week, I made it to the final round of the application. Of course, he's talking about the Plan Disney panel process. Yes. So we're keeping our fingers crossed for him. It'd be a crime for him not to be on the panel.
Yeah, no, that would be the best addition to the panel.
Right. I believe for what he has to go through now, and he may have already done it, but he has a phone interview with some people with Plan Disney, and then very soon they will announce whether or not Jonathan made the panel. Yes. He deserves it. Jonathan would be an awesome member of Plan Disney. So we're hoping that he ends up making it through to the Plan Disney panel. It can help start answering your questions and other Disney vacation guest questions as well.
Right. I mean, talk about a perfect fit. He would be the perfect fit for Plan Disney.
Right. And I'm assuming he's doing Disneyland because they most often go to Disneyland. Yeah. They live up in the Oregon area. Disneyland is most common for them. However, I mean, he also is pretty studied up on DVC, pretty steady. He's done Walt Disney World a couple times. So I believe that he would be great on any of those fronts, but I think Disneyland is probably closest to his home. So I'd imagine that's what he'll be representing.
Yeah. Although now I guess we have to really push and entice that family to join us on a Disney cruise, because that would be a blast.
For sure. They'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But we enjoy spending time with them wherever it may be. So Jonathan, Camille, Lorelai. But like I said, we're most thrilled for Jonathan. Well-deserved to get through to round 3, and it'll be even more well-deserved. And you should do it, Disney. I know you listen to the show. Definitely, just put him through.
Don't make that mistake.
We said from the beginning, after he made it through the first round, just put him through.
That's
okay. Right. Go ahead. Keep on going. Put him through, Disney.
Maybe they've already listened to us, but
That's
they have
true.
to go through
They
the
usually
steps.
do. They usually do.
I know.
So anyway, again, narcissistic here. It's the Narcissistic Adventures podcast.
Now I'm really interested in knowing your spirit characters.
Oh boy, Gaston. Before we get to that, I have lots of stuff for you this week, including we now know the dates of one of our favorite EPCOT festivals. We'll be telling you what that is and when that'll be happening. And we'll also head across the globe because we have Tokyo Disney's new themed areas. We know the names of them. We'll share those with you as well. But enough about all that. Let's get back to us. Let's go ahead and get to our main topic of the week. So for this week's main topic, it is Halloween, or when you may be listening to this, it may be just a little bit after Halloween, but we're recording this the day before Halloween. It's in the spirit, quote unquote, of Halloween. So Michelle had this great concept of, how would you dress up for Halloween? Maybe if, it was, something that a Disney character that kind of is who you feel like you are inside, basically like a spirit animal,
right?
Only it's a spirit Disney character, right, Michelle?
Right. Yeah. Like you said, the concept of spirit animal is out there. That's not a Disney thing. That's just out there, some, a character, or excuse me, an animal that kind of, either inspires you or you feel you connect with in terms of what their spirit, what they're all about. And so, trying to say Disney has so many amazing characters. Why not have a spirit character? Right.
It was a little tough to narrow this down because I often, it's funny that Michelle came up with this concept because I often look at a Disney movie and say, oh, this character is definitely my spirit animal. I'm feeling that character right now for sure. So I had a lot of possibilities to put into there. So it was tough to narrow down. What we're going to do here is we're going to end up actually listing three characters apiece that we feel kind of most closely relate to us. And then we may put it out there on social media and have you vote and say, are these the characters which character of these do you feel most represents us? Or is there somebody else? Yeah. Or is there some other character that you think that we, more is like us? We'd love to know what you think, right, Michelle?
Yeah, exactly.
So when we do these things, well, of course, just as always, we always start with Michelle because, she does the best research. She has the best tips for sure. There's no question about that. And she also has the best lists. And I'm sure she'll have the best Disney spirit characters. So Michelle, what is your first Disney spirit character? The one that you think most closely you relate to in many ways?
Well, first of all, a couple things I wanted to bring out is one thing. First of all, I think if there was a spirit couple characters that I think we embody a lot of times are the couple from Up. Just kind of not. It's kind of like the growing together and having that same adventure spirit together. But anyways, that being said,
I think that's actually in some ways very true. You are very much like Ellie in the fact that you are very adventurous. You want to get out and do things all the time. Meanwhile, I'm just like, I'll come along for the
Drag
ride.
you along, yeah.
And I'll have fun along the time, on the ride. But maybe I'm not the one that like says, let's go do this.
Not the initiator.
Yeah. So I'm much more like Carl in that regard. So
Right.
very good.
So, but I did come up with 3 characters, and I kind of did this over time, a little bit over time. But it's funny, as I've been reviewing my notes, there's such similarities. I think I kind of honed in on 1 or 2 aspects of my personality, I think, and so it's interesting that the reason I picked some of these things some of these characters are for the same reason, even though they're different characters. So the first one I'll put out there is Luisa from Encanto. For me, I can really identify with her, that need to, be strong, to produce, to feel like you're carrying your weight, that you feel like that's on your shoulders. I don't want to say burden, but you feel like you're responsible for certain things. And yet underneath you have those insecurities that how are you going to be judged by that? How are you, are you doing enough? Are you doing it the right way or well? And I suffer from that a lot, for sure. And even though she does have strength and she does have abilities, and when I look at myself, not to sound, egotistical or whatever, but I know I have some things to offer, but it's still inside in the back of my mind, again, under the surface, are those insecurities of, am I really coming across the right way?
Yeah, I actually really agree with that one. I think when Encanto came out, and we may have even mentioned it in the Encanto episode that we did, that went crazy viral. Well, viral for us. I thought that was the character that I saw you in the most there, that you tend to take all these things on your shoulders, and you get concerned that if you don't take it on, that what will happen.
Right.
And this was in your previous job.
Yeah.
It was at home. It was all of it.
Yeah.
I could see that pressure bubbling up on you as well. And sometimes it was very, very tough on you.
Right.
Just like it is on Luisa. So I could definitely see you fitting within that role as well.
Thanks.
So
Yeah.
that makes sense to me.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I thought of it when watching the film, but you did bring it up to me. And then ever since then, I do feel that connection. And actually, there are a lot of times if I'm listening to that song while running, I cry. It's kind of like I just feel the emotion. It's almost like looking at yourself in a mirror, like later on in life. Like I wish I could put my arms around that person and say, "It's okay, you're doing great."
Yeah, I really feel, and I don't have any Encanto characters on my list, but I do feel one of the things why people embraced Encanto so much is because that, and we mentioned this again in that episode, that there's the characters. If there's one of the characters there that you relate to in some way, shape, or form, almost there are between our neuroses and our various different issues, that there are characters within Encanto that you can see yourself as a part of, for sure.
Well, I think, for everybody, it's you may project a certain personality to people, but to yourself that there are some other issues or some other ways of you, and and that's kind of like where Encanto was going, right? That they looked like they were the perfect family, and that they had all these special magical powers. So why isn't things for them must be amazing, and yet we saw that wasn't always the case.
For sure. So
anyways,
I knew it right off the bat. Michelle's list was going to be the best list. Her spirit characters were going to be the best. I think that she is dead on accurate with her first one. We'll see about her other two as well. But
what about your first
I'm sure
one?
they'll be great as well.
Thank you.
For mine, I'm going to start off with my first character is someone it's a character I've portrayed in a Run Disney event, sort of, founded maybe, but I'm going to go with Sully from the Monsters, Inc. franchise, because I think if you look at me at first glance, I'm kind of a big, goofy, and maybe a little scary kind of looking dude, a little hairy, a little scary. But when you really get to know me, I'm kind of a happy-go-lucky kind of guy, who's fiercely loyal, just fun-loving, and and someone you probably want to get to know. Well, I would like to believe you want someone you want to get to know, but I kind of feel that's what Sully is. He's not the, even though he was a scarer, started off as a scarer, that's not who he really was. He was just kind of this jovial, happy kind of guy. And, who only put on the face that he had to do for his job. And I kind of feel that's similar to me.
Right. No, I think you're pretty accurate with that too. Not for all the same reasons. I don't think you're big and hairy and scary.
Big and hairy, that's for sure.
No. But definitely the heart, that Sully has. And like you said, that people would want to get to know you for sure. But yeah, you do have that side that is, more the caring and gentle personality that you might not necessarily, without really getting to know you, recognize.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. So, yeah, I just kind of believe I kind of relate to Sully in many ways. And so I can see myself in him in Monsters Inc. or, maybe a younger self in Monsters University, a little bit trying to, curb the system a little bit, get through it. And also a little bit of him in a little bits we get of him in Monsters at Work as well, which we've been watching again because Scott loves it.
Yeah.
And it's still such a cute series.
I know. It's like it's growing on me more and more. I do hope there's a season 2.
Right. We'll see what happens with that.
But yeah, I mean, and I think the other thing with Sully's character that also connects with your personality is you do like to have fun. And that, you are jovial and laughter is where it's after.
That's true. Very true. So again, I think round 1, Michelle wins round 1, but expect that to be a 3-round knockout here for sure from her. So, let's go ahead and get to Michelle's second Disney spirit character. Who else do you think reminds you of yourself when you see him on the screen, or her on the screen?
I'm going to say the mom from Onward. I think her name is Laurel Lightfoot. I think the spirit of her, of not seeing limitations, that she's willing to really put herself out there, even whether it's just to kind of better herself, or whatever, and that also obviously that moms have is that you do anything for your child, but that, like I said, her drive to be out there and trying new things and be strong. I really connected with that. And the lack of limitations.
Right. Fiercely loves for her family and will fight for her family.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good one.
But then even after things are settled down, how she, connected with another personality that you would think these two wouldn't necessarily be friends and everything like that. And I kind of feel that sometimes too, that there are, I could definitely feel like I don't have to be in a box.
Yeah. Very good. I like that choice as well. I think that's another great choice. So,
thank you. Well, I'm anxious for yours.
Definitely has great choices here. For my next choice, well, as we all know, hashtag Real Men Love Frozen. And you may think I'm about to go Elsa, but I'm not going to go Elsa here. I would never think that. No, I don't think anybody really, as much as I love to break in to Let It Go, no one really believes that I'm Elsa. But I think that maybe the character that I'm most closely associated with is Kristoff in there, from the Frozen franchise. To be honest with you, I'm probably a combination of Kristoff and Anna, so maybe their child or something. Because
I thought you were going to say Kristoff and Sven.
Well, it could be that too. I do associate with Sven in many ways. I'll tell you that right now. Matter of fact, Sven nearly made this slide. But, I think Kristoff is a little closer because, again, I'm loyal. I feel Kristoff is very loyal. He's, even though he could be a little tough to get to know at first, when you get to know him, he's extremely friendly.
Right.
He's in love with a very quirky woman. Just saying. Loves her dearly, just like I love Michelle dearly. And you know what? I'm not afraid to break out into a boy band song at any time, just like Kristoff. So I think I can kind of relate to him. And I also, even though we moved to a very warm area.
Right.
I do like the cold. I could see myself, providing ice to people as I career. So
You're always talking about hydrate. So.
That's true. So that's kind of why I could see myself a bit in Kristoff. Again, I think if you were to give me, a little bit of Kristoff, a little bit of the quirkiness of Anna,
right,
combine them together, that's probably more accurate as to who I am.
I think Kristoff is quirky in his own way too. But yeah, you're right. That's definitely a good selection because it is honing in a lot of those skills or personalities about you, those traits of being friendly, but he's also one that is strong and level-headed. Mm-hmm. And he's the one kind of like, at times questioning, like, are you sure that's what you think you should do? Right. And things like that. And I think you do those things very well too, that, you have a good skill at kind of stepping back and looking at the broader picture at times and, really thinking it through or putting, question to it so that it is getting more evaluation before just acting on something.
Very good. That's very true. I think those are accurate. So that's my second possibility of a Disney spirit character. Let's get back to the real list here. Let's get back to Michelle's. Michelle, who is your third Disney spirit character?
So my third Disney spirit character, I think, would be Marlin from Finding Nemo and Finding Dory. Mainly because I do see a lot of times that I am chicken about some things that I think a lot of people tend to not be, like when you're talking like roller coasters or, we're talking Halloween now, going into haunted houses or whatever. It's not me. But when it's important, when it's necessary, is not even thinking about, hey, I need to get myself worked up and get the courage. You just go in and do it, and I think that's something that we see in Marlin, that, he's very timid, doesn't want to try some things because it scares him. But then when he's faced with those things, he's just like, okay, I'm here talking, and you can be nervous, but I'm, not thinking of how should I talk to these sharks, but just doing it, and getting through situations. And so kind of can identify with that.
Yeah. Fights through his fear to help with his family, to help his friends and family, protect them. At first it's trying to find his son, in Nemo, and doing all those things to get across the ocean. Next, it's trying to help save Dory, who, and when she's trying to find her family and has gone away and then gets stuck in a awkward situation, and it's trying to help her. So, even though he has some hesitancy about all these things, when it comes down to it, the bottom line is that he will go and fight through these things to help the people that he loves. And I very much believe that's you as well.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I mean, I think he, the other thing about him is he's looking at the end goal and just taking each thing as it comes, not letting it necessarily build, just like, okay, oh, now I'm faced with this, and then move on. Oh, now I'm faced with this, and yes, it's a struggle and he fights through it, but just letting it just take one step at a time.
Right. Very good. Very good. Nice choice. Michelle's list. Definitely the best list.
Nah, I don't know best about that. Yours is great so far. And I'm very anxious to hear your number 3.
Well, my third one, and this was a tough one. Like I said, I thought about Sven for a while, but I already had Kristoff, and I thought I was just a little closer to Kristoff than Sven. I thought about several other characters as possibilities out there. I thought about Woody at one point being one that would be a likely one.
Right.
But what I landed on was actually, and it was one that you brought up for another friend of ours. And I kind of, the more I thought about this character, I'm like, no, I kind of associate with this character. And that is Fix-It Felix from Wreck-It Ralph. And I'll tell you why. It's because, like him, I'm just kind of very a happy-go-lucky kind of guy who Fix-It Felix is. Very positive all the time. He's always has a smile for everybody.
Right.
He's always trying to help his neighbors out and help his friends out. And I kind of like to believe that that's the way I am too. And just like him, I also married way out of my league. So I feel like I'm very much in sync with with Fix It Felix in that regard for sure. So I kind of feel like maybe that's my other one.
Yeah, I think I can see that definitely for the reasons that you say. Totally agree with that.
Especially the way marrying way out of my league.
That wasn't what I meant. More the issue, the other issues you mentioned. But and I think the other things with Felix is one, you do like to fix things. Both just mechanically, you're really good. You read instructions, so when you're building something, it actually comes together correctly. But also the fact that you do like to take on if there's a problem, how can you address it? How can you fix it? And, I think you
sometimes to a fault.
Yeah.
Often to a
but
fault.
I think that's, most people try to, especially when it's with a loved one, you try to fix things, even if they're beyond everybody's control. But I think you do have that desire to try to make things better, look at how to improve things. So I think that those are always good qualities too, that, you're in tune to things to say, how can this be better? How can I make it better? So I think that's very accurate too.
Thank you.
I think there's other reasons too.
I just think mostly when you look at him, he's always smiling, always
Right.
happy. And I kind of feel like I'm that way most of the time as well. So,
Right.
Yeah. No one is any one thing, but
Right.
I feel like I'm that way a lot of times when
Yeah.
when you see me, meet me, I'm just a jovial, happy kind of guy.
Right. That is true.
So those are our lists. We did get some from some of our Hyperion adventurers as well. So let's go through some that they sent to us. We'll start with Tony the Disney Dad, one of our favorites.
Yeah.
He said, I think my spirit animal, easy for me to say. Yeah. My spirit animal is Kermit the Frog.
Aw, cute.
He said, always an optimist, always trying to do what's best for his friends/family. It doesn't always work out like he planned, but he makes the best of the situation. I could definitely see that in Tony for sure. So I think Kermit is really good spirit character for him.
Right. And the other thing is Kermit is also, is like a leader and also, a realist but still can look at the fun and look at the beyond the rainbow and things like that. And I think those are all good qualities that Tony also has.
Yeah, very good. So we agree with that, Tony.
Yes.
Nice choice. We got this on Twitter from the Salute to the Ears podcast. You can find them at Salute to the Ears. They just had a really quick GIF saying, I am Baymax.
I love it.
Okay. I get it for sure. I love it. That's a great one for sure. Also on Twitter from the Great British Mickey Waffle podcast and YouTube channel. You can find them.
Great group.
Yep. At GB Mickey Waffle. And this is one I thought about for myself too. He said, not sure why, but Ben, who is at Ackhurst F1, says he's a bit like Hey Hey from Moana. Yep. I've often, many times during the day, I feel very much like Hey Hey, for sure.
Don't we all? But.
Yes. Can relate to Hey Hey quite often. I agree. Thank you guys. Definitely check out both those shows for sure. Another show you should check out is the Conversations podcast.
They have a podcast?
Yeah. Do you believe it? I've heard they have a show here and there somewhere. Anyway, Pat from the Conversation podcast gave us a few here. He said, one is Ray from Princess and the Frog. He says he's fiercely loyal and lights up a room. I would agree with that with Pat for sure. Also, Tramp from Lady and the Tramp saying rough around the edges, likes a good Italian dinner, and somehow landed a decent lady.
Nice.
For sure, on all accounts there, Pat. And or I'm King Fergus from Brave for every reason you'd think.
Perfect.
Agreed. Except for you're not Scottish, I don't believe. I think you're mostly Irish, right Pat?
Right.
But other than that, very good.
We'll
good
take
list.
them into the fold.
For sure. For sure.
Our Scottish fold.
Yes. Also, the other half of the Conversations podcast, Charles chimed in. He said, and this is typical Charles here, Luxo the lamp from, Pixar.
Right.
He said, it's an odd choice, but it's one of the most iconic rendered objects that blew me away way back in 1986. It blew my mind and sparked an interest in technology that continues until today. That's an extremely interesting choice for sure.
Yeah, it's unique, but the more I thought of it too is that, if you look at where Luxo, the lamp comes up to begin with, just kind of fun and bouncing on things and,
That's Charles.
Charles, yeah.
Him and his wicked hops.
And, well, no, I mean, just being jovial, being fun, being, happy.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
That's good. He also added, he had Flick from Bug's Life. He's saying, trying to keep everything on the rails. Although I think most of the time, yes, Flick is trying to keep everything on the rails, but half the time he caused them to go off the rails as well. So, while trying to do something right, but sometimes they don't exactly go as planned.
What are you saying now?
I'm not trying to say anything about Charles. I'm talking about Flick.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about Flick, not Charles.
Okay.
Wink.
No, but the other thing about Flick too is just the creativity. Again, having a lot of fun, but being smart, smarter than most people.
Willing to try things that others aren't. They'll get stuck in the ways. He's trying to do something different and adventurous. And yeah, I agree. Very good.
Yes.
There we go. So we did get a couple more. Charles said that his wife, Bernadette, is definitely Mulan. She honors her father and family with duty. Having met Bernadette a little bit and knowing a little bit about her, I think that seems very accurate to me.
Yeah. Definitely would link that. And, and just the strong spirit. Bernadette has a good, strong spirit.
For sure.
And that's what Mulan has, a lot of strength to her.
No question. For sure. So I think that is a very good choice there. Kim from the Hoopty Duo Review podcast apparently came through and said that she is like Sleeping Beauty. And one, she's a beauty, but also I think she likes her sleep.
Yeah, but Sleeping Beauty also has a lot of other great characters, as does Kim.
For sure.
And, again, just a very warm person. And you see that in Sleeping Beauty, too.
For sure. Speaking of the Hoopty Duo Review podcast, we couldn't get one from Rob. We tried to get one from Rob. He's also, of course, part of the Jedi Temple Archives podcast. But I think that several of us got together and agreed that he is also Baymax, but the Big Hero 6 armored version of Baymax, because it's like he wears this fierce outer shell that often hides the sweet, lovable caregiver that is within that armor that he puts out there. I think that's kind of what we feel about Rob.
I think you all did a good job at selecting that one.
Thanks. I give Pat most credit for that from the Conversations podcast. However, I chimed in a little bit on that, but I stole that from Pat. Anyway, we'd still love to know who your Disney spirit characters are. And do you think ours are accurate? Like I said, we'll probably put up a little poll on social media to see if you think that the ones we have selected are correct, or if there's someone else, some other character that you think fits us better. Right. We'll probably put that out there later in the week, but we'd also love to know yours. Please send them to us and we'll share them on an upcoming show.
Yes, we'd like to hear from you on that.
Yes. So maybe whoever you pick for us, maybe that's who we dress up next Halloween.
Ooh, maybe so.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. So that is our look at our Disney spirit characters. That's a lot of fun. I really think that you could go through a lot of Disney movies and pick out there's a character out there that you relate to in many ways. I think that that's part of the joy that comes from Disney movies, is they do so well of embracing different people's personalities and finding ways to express them through these various different characters in these movies.
Right. Yeah. Maybe not cover the whole thing about the character. For example, I kind of had Mrs. Potts on my list for a little while too. One, I love a great cup of tea. But just kind of that caring, wanting to bring people together kind of personality. So there could be a little aspect in, something. I mean, as much as I don't really connect with Anna all that much, I think I do with her dark moments.
Yeah.
Going through some of the challenges when she's at her deepest, darkest moments and things like that. So yeah, there are certain times you can watch a film and say, oh, I kind of feel connected with that character because of this.
I think that you are actually like you're a bit Elsa, you're a bit Anna. I mean,
Yeah.
I think you're like, you take aspects of both of them
Yeah.
and you put them together and you got Michelle there. For sure. For sure. So, anyway, again, we'd love to know yours. Please let us know. We will share them for sure on an upcoming show. Let's go ahead and get to our Disney stories of the week. I only have a couple for you this week, but I'm going to start with one that we're really excited about because this is our favorite, maybe our favorite, definitely one of our favorite EPCOT festivals. And we now know the dates of when it's coming up. So this is from the Disney Parks blog. They said, art and foodie lovers, mark your calendars because the EPCOT International Festival of the Arts returns on January 13th and runs through February 20th, 2023 at the Walt Disney World Resort. It's always too short to me.
I know
that. I love that festival so much. But maybe that's why it seems that much more special to us because it doesn't like Food and Wine seems to run forever,
right.
Even Flower and Garden has a longer period of time.
Yeah.
Maybe because it's shorter, we love it that much more in that time that's around.
Yeah, that could be. I mean, I do think too that maybe that Disney feels like it's not as popular and the time of year is not when there's as many guests as during some of the other times of the year. And so they keep it brief for that reason. But I do think it's been gaining popularity.
Oh, for sure.
From when we first used to go to it till the last time we went, it's a lot more popular.
We used to call it the most underrated festival, and I
Right.
don't think it's as underrated anymore.
No.
I think a lot of people, it's grown into either their favorite festival or right up
Yes.
there near the top.
Right.
For sure, because it has become very, very popular. So they go on to say the festival is a global celebration of visual, culinary, and performing arts where guests can find inspiration and discover their own creativity in fun ways across the park. Topping the must-do list are 16 delectable food studios, which are as pretty to look at as they are to taste. They always do a great job with that. And they say that they serve up art-inspired menus appealing to a variety of palates. The creations are not just delicious, but they are true works of art, as we were just saying. And this just in, the EPCOT Festival culinary team is putting the finishing touches on 2 new food studios. Modern, which is located near Test Track, or will be located near Test Track, presented by Chevrolet, will feature new mouth-watering avant-garde menu items. The other new food studio is Figment's Inspiration Station at the Odyssey. Art, food, and a little sparks of magic. It promises to deliver treats and beverages bursting with vibrant colors and flavors. So glad to see we're going to get in a couple more places to sample some of the wonderful food there.
Yeah. And it's good that they're incorporating some places that maybe not everybody knows about or goes to. And I think sometimes people miss out on some real special treats.
Right. I mean, for Food and Wine, one of our favorite spot, where they have the French fries, the fry station there is right next to Test Tracks.
Right.
I wonder if that's kind of the same location Modern will be. And so they also go on to say during the festival, more than 100 Disney and visiting artists will showcase their eye-catching works of art. Guests of all ages can express their creative side by learning to draw a Disney character at Animation Academy, leaving their own creative mark at Expressions section, a paint-by-number mural, and helping Figment learn about art on a scavenger hunt round World Showcase. All those things are a lot of fun. Yes. And each evening, the Disney on Broadway concert series will feature talented entertainers performing Disney songs live at American Gardens Theater. A list of entertainers will be coming soon. So that's exciting.
Yes.
Hoping to catch a couple of those this year.
Right.
Because we love whenever we've caught any of the Disney on Broadway type experiences, whether it been on Disney Cruise Line. We have a plan coming up here in just a few weeks to see the Disney Princess concert here in nearby in Melbourne. So we're excited about that as well. But they always put on a fantastic show. We saw it at D23 as well.
Yes. So they're always very entertaining.
Very
Great.
cool. So very excited. We still have the Festival of the Holidays coming up here once Food and Wine wraps up here in the next couple weeks. But very excited to get also to the International Festival of the Arts because that is a blast.
Yeah. And we currently have a reservation, a resort reservation during that period. So
Yep. Fortunately, it falls just after my birthday, so I won't be celebrating my birthday at the Festival of the Arts. But
well, as of what we have planned right
as
now.
of what we have planned.
But
But
yes.
it will be fun either way, and we will definitely be out there making probably multiple visits because it is one of our favorite
it's a great
festivals
one. Yeah.
for sure. Moving on and heading across the globe, we now have Tokyo Disney's new themed areas. We know what their names are going to be. This again from the Disney Parks blog. They said they're thrilled to finally share the names of the 3 immersive worlds you will discover at Tokyo Disney Resort's Newport Fantasy Springs in Tokyo Disney Sea. They are hashtag Real Men Love Frozen. No, that's not the name of it. It is Frozen Kingdom, Rapunzel's Forest, and Peter Pan's Neverland.
Those are awesome.
Yeah, they're all cool places
Yes.
that I think we want to check out for sure.
Yeah.
Inspired by the Walt Disney Animation Studios films Frozen, Tangled, and Peter Pan, this newly expanded area will open in spring of 2024, joining the already impressive lineup of hotels at the resort. Tokyo Disney Sea Fantasy Springs Hotel will even offer a stunning view into this expanded area for some rooms. I think that we've been planning on getting out to the Asian parks. Maybe this is what we need to kick us in the pants
Could be.
to get out there and go see Tokyo Disney Resort and Tokyo Disney Sea, of course.
Yeah.
Here's a little small description of the areas. For Frozen Kingdom, they say set after the events of Frozen, snow-capped mountains featuring several cascading waterfalls will tower over this quaint village. In the distance, Elsa's snow-covered ice palace will glisten proudly as you step into the all-new immersive world of Frozen Kingdom. That
Nice.
sounds something that is right up my alley,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
Well, we love immersive experiences in the park for sure.
Yep. Another place that we will definitely love, or I know I will love, is be Rapunzel's Forest. They say practically a dream. You'll soon be able to experience Tangled as it comes to life in Rapunzel's Forest. Rising from the ground, the tower where Rapunzel lived as a child will overlook this new area. At night, it will illuminate the surrounding forest. In addition to lamps lining the paths, a glowing restaurant, and boathouse windows with patterns hanging from the boats. So
Nice.
that sounds fun and
Yeah,
beautiful.
beautiful.
Yeah. Something definitely to check out at night for sure. I'm
Yeah.
sure it'll be stunning during the day, but that
Right.
sounds like the real place you want to hit up at night.
Yeah, for sure.
Finally, you're also invited to Never Grow Up in Peter Pan's Neverland, where the world of Peter Pan unfolds. With just a little bit of pixie dust, join the ranks of the lost kids, explore a pirate ship, dine in a secret hideaway, confront pirates, or visit Pixie Hollow, the fairy valley where Tinkerbell lives. I thought here, our home. It's the fairy valley where Michelle Tinkerbell lives.
You're cute. Thanks, babe.
I was surprised Tinkerbell wasn't here, one of your spirit characters, by the way.
I know, right? Yeah.
You're sassy like her.
Yeah. A little bit of a
And you're
edge.
teeny tiny
Little
like
bit
her.
of an edge.
You're teeny tiny like her, and you flit and
Yes.
float about like her. And you sprinkle pixie dust wherever you go.
Right. I guess I was more into insecurities when I made this list.
We all are.
Fears.
There you go. Anyway, all those lands sound great. Also, the hotel, Tokyo Disney Sea Fantasy Springs Hotel. They say a day of adventures in this magical spring calls for a good night's rest at this hotel, the 6th Disney hotel in Japan. It is situated near Fantasy Springs and allows this dream world to continue from the park to the hotel. It will feature paintings depicting Disney princesses as well as floral motifs throughout the interior of the hotel. Sounds beautiful and like it sounds like a cool place to check out all those new lands.
Right.
If you get a chance to stay there.
And to have some views of them. Yeah. Cool.
So very cool. Again, we're coming up here. It won't be in 2024, but in 2025 is our 20th wedding anniversary.
So,
maybe there. Maybe we head there.
Could
It's
be.
just a possibility, but we know we've been thinking about getting to the Asian Disney parks. And,
Right.
this may inspire us. We may also go out to Disneyland Paris. That's a thought I have out there in the back of my mind.
Now
is
you're
to
talking.
some way to spend our 20th wedding anniversary as well. But we'll get it all figured out here. We have a couple years to get it all situated, but it's going to be a lot of fun one way or the other. So that's it for the Disney stories of the week. However, we never leave you without giving you some sort of tip that might help you on your next vacation. And when we do this, we always start with Michelle because look, we already heard it. She has the best Disney spirit characters that are associated with her. She has the best list. She definitely does the best research, but there's no question, hands down, she has the best tips. So let's get to it. Here's Michelle's tip of the week.
Oh, you're so cute. So sweet. Thank you, honey. So my tip really has to do with Plan Disney, and we've talked about it obviously with the beginning of the show that Jonathan is in hot pursuit of hopefully being a panelist.
Disney should be in hot pursuit of him.
That's true. That's true. But anyways, it is a good resource if you do have questions that you can, write into that panel. But what you might not know is that you can actually send a question to a specific panel member. And there are two ways that you can go about this. The first one is if you're happen to be reading one of the responses and you have maybe it sparks another question for you, then what you could do from that response is if you go below the response, it gives a little brief bio of the panelist who answered that question. But it also has a link. It says learn more about, and it gives their name. So let's say learn more about Jonathan. And so you could click.
It will.
I know, right? So you'll click on that, and then that brings you to a page that gives a lot more detail about that panelist. But there's also this box, like a blue box, that says get an answer from this panelist, and then it has like a link, start now. So that's one way where you could access the form that you could send a question to that specific panelist. Now, the other way you can do this is from the Plan Disney homepage. They have an About tab, and you can click on that, and then you can select where it says Meet the Panelists, and then it gives them, I think it's in alphabetical order by default, but you can go through, find the panelists that you want to send a question to from there, and again, you click on their name, and then it brings you to that area, that box where you can get an answer from this panelist.
Very good. It's definitely important, especially if you find a panelist that you really like, that you like their way they answer,
right.
You like their responses, or you just like the person, and when Jonathan becomes one of the Plan Disney members, you may want to pepper him with your questions because
he
believe
may be
me,
like, why did Michelle say
thanks
this?
a lot. So many questions to answer. No, definitely that is good because you may like some of the responses from one of the panelists. So they're all great,
right?
But you may like one of the responses from
right.
one of the panelists over the others.
Yeah, or you may have another question, like I said, from reading one of their responses that makes you think of another question or want maybe some clarity if there's something that you're not quite sure you understand. You have that ability to connect with them.
That's a very good point. And you can also, by the way, always email your questions to us because Michelle has all the answers for sure. But Michelle's tips, always the best tips for sure. That we know for sure. As for my tip this week, this is something I've gone over in the past. I think Michelle maybe has as well, but I kind of want to go over it again right now because we've seen in recent weeks where some of the Walt Disney World resorts have offered some discounts based on, where you live in the country. If you have an annual pass, if you're a member of Disney Plus, if you ever subscribed to Disney Plus, whatever. There have been some resort deals that have come up, and you may think to yourself, oh, I booked my vacation months ago because I was planning on this trip. Now I've missed out on this great deal. Well, I just want to remind you that isn't the case. That when you book your vacation, you can always go back and check and see if one of these deals comes through and compare it and see if it ends up being a better deal than what you booked way back months ago.
Right.
So all you need to do is go to the website when one of these deals comes through. And I would suggest you do it anyway, just to check and see, because sometimes the prices of your resort stay may fluctuate for various reasons. Go back, go to your resort and you can check, or go to your reservation and you can check and see. You can see about changing the reservation, and you can look and see what offers are there for you and compare. look at the price, see if this is a better deal. When the Disney food plan comes back, that might be an offer too, because they have said that is eventually going to come back. Will that work out better for you in the long run as well? These things you can always change up until very near your actual vacation. And so it's worth it to check back, verify what's going on, and you don't have to worry about, booking your trip and thinking I might miss out on something later that might be a better deal. Go ahead, book that trip, check back often. It's fun, and you never know what you might find as far as a discount.
Right. That's a great tip, sweetie.
And that's all right there through the website. So
Yeah.
If that might help you out. I think that's something we definitely need to check into, and don't worry when these deals pop up.
Right.
Take advantage of them when they do, but don't be afraid that I missed out because I booked this, way back in June.
Right.
Or
Exactly.
That's it for this week's show. Next week, well, we've been trying to decide for a long time. Should we? Shouldn't we? Do we go ahead and do it? Do we book a trip aboard the Galactic Star Cruiser? It looks exciting. Well, a good friend of ours just happened to take a voyage aboard the Halcyon.
Right.
So we're going to find out right from the horse's mouth. We'll be talking with him about his trip aboard the Halcyon, aboard the Galactic Star Cruiser, and we'll find out for him what he thinks. Is it worth it? Should we go ahead and book our Galactic Star Cruise, our cruise through a galaxy far, far away?
Yeah, and I think he's going to give us some tips of how to prepare for that, and maybe some things to watch out for while you're on your vacation.
Right, and probably I'm sure we won't be doing too many spoilers or any spoilers at all, but just kind of get a response from him, see how he enjoyed it, if he did enjoy it, and what he thinks about it, and should we go ahead and see about doing this in the near future?
Exactly.
And maybe that might answer some of your questions out there as well.
Right.
For sure. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Plus, he's just a really good friend of ours. We're going to love sitting down and talking with him. He's Nate. He's been on the show before. You may remember him. It's been a couple years now, but we're excited to have him back on the show.
Yeah. He's very generous with sharing information and just wanting to help people out.
Right. And he does some good things with charity.
Right.
And he also is a travel agent as well.
Right.
So we'll talk to him about those things as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun this week.
Yes.
Looking forward to recording it.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of my favorite things from this week. I'll tell you right now already. So as for today's show, we appreciate that you joined us today. In the future, you can find us most everywhere you get podcasts. However, the very best place to find us is on our own website, HyperionAdventuresPodcast.com. And while you're there,
we'd love for you to sign up for the newsletter.
Please sign up for the newsletter. Just another way to be involved in the Hyperion Adventures podcast world. Another great way is to follow us on social media. We're on Twitter at Hyperion Podcast, Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest at Hyperion Adventures Podcast. If you are on Facebook, come on over and join us for some good, positive Disney energy fun on our Hyperion Adventurers Facebook group.
Yeah, we'd love to have you join. And if you, as we always say, if you're already a member of that, please tell your friends and family so they can also have the fun with us.
Yeah, come on out. It doesn't matter if you just, hang out there and see the stuff that's being shared on that site, or if you actually share something yourself. We're just glad to have you be a part of that positive energy that we have going on. Also, we are on YouTube. If you want to find us there, just do a quick search for Hyperion Adventures Podcast. Hit subscribe and you'll know whenever we have a new video. And if you ever want to contact us for any reason, please hit us up at our Gmail account, HyperionAdventuresPodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, we love hearing from you.
We do.
And we also appreciate people who give us reviews and give ratings as well. Or just tell a family or friend member about the podcast.
Yeah, let them know that this show exists, that they may like it. Maybe they have a trip coming to Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise, whatever. Maybe they might enjoy this to help get them excited for their upcoming vacation. We appreciate it. And everybody who's already either told a friend, given us a rating, given us a review, we appreciate you very much.
Yes.
Excellent.
Most definitely.
For sure. So that's it. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Hyperion Adventures podcast. We look forward to sharing some time with you again next week. Until that time, I'm Tom.
I'm Michelle.
And we hope that you have a magical week.
Bye.